Spending money for a good reason. Part 2 of a video series how to waste, spend, save and multiply your money. In a previous video we took a look at the situations when money wasted without good reason, or what's worse, bring a negative outcome. Briefly, think well before giving go ahead. Do not approve any works if you are not 100% sure that they are really necessary. Not only it would save you time and money, but it could prevent situations when you pour more and more money into something and it brings thoughts, well, I already spent 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000. I don't want to waste what I already spent. It's very important to stop and cut your losses in timely manner. You need to keep it in mind whether you are trying to fix your vacuum cleaner, car or house. So with the previous, these and future videos, you avoided unnecessary expenses. Let's say you saved $200, $300, $400 in just one visit to dealership. If you have 2, 3 or more cars, multiply your savings by 2, 3 and so on and so forth. You could spend money you saved for a good reason. How? Spend them on something you really need. For example, make your car last longer or make it better. And you understand that when I mention car, you can use any other word: house, boat, health, education, and so on and so forth. Every car have manual which contain a detailed description of what need to be done after what mileage. For example, after 5,000 miles you need to change oil and filter. After 20,000 or 30,000 miles, change your air filter as well. Remember, we were talking that people who make manuals or instructions know about subject a lot more than they can put in the instructions or manuals. But let's think. Let's take car as example, and we understand similar situation can be with other products as well. There is a thing called marketing. Companies try to make their products more attractive for potential buyers. In order to do it, they make cars of right color with right number of cylinders or horsepower, color or material of interior. One of the indicators which people consider before buying cars is cost of ownership of the car for 5 or 10 years, or for example 100,000 miles, which basically means how much a buyer is going to spend on maintenance. It's obvious that the lower this number, the more attractive car appear to potential buyers. Manufacturers know this and try to comply. And here is a dilemma. On one hand, manufacturers need to make dealerships happy by providing them with ways to make money by selling, servicing and repairing of its cars. That's where from numbers of $300 or $400 and sometimes $600 for oil change and endless list of we will check, we will make sure, we will add if necessary come from. On the other hand, manufacturers would like to keep cost of ownership down. What do? They just remove still necessary but expensive services if it wouldn't have immediate negative effect. And I would like to focus your attention on what I just said. If it wouldn't have immediate negative effect. For example, many manufacturers nowadays say that oil in automatic transmissions don't need to be replaced because it's quote-unquote lifelong. Well, first 5 years, which is warranty, your transmission would last almost no matter what. If it would die after that, when warranty expires, it would mean that life of the transmission is gone, and if you would like to fix it, you could do it with your own money. As you know, transmission is part of your car which have moving parts in it, and those parts work under pretty good amount of stress. Whether you like it or not, there are particles which pass filter and make this stress even heavier. When we talk about service, everyone, of course, make own decisions. Someone would say, come on, hundreds of thousands and millions of people drive their cars without ATF change and nothing happens. Nothing until the moment when your car suddenly die because of transmission, and repair bill would grow to 1,000 instead of 200 once in 5 or so years for ATF change. So it's basically your chance, your decision. Thousands of car owners come to shops daily because they have problems with transmissions. Sometimes someone would say, it would last long enough and I would buy another car before it die. Are you really sure that 1, 5 or 10 years from now you would be able to afford new car? On top of that, have you considered you may need to pass it to your, for example, children or spouse? Even if you would decide to sell the car, it would be a lot easier if it would run well instead of having problems with transmission. If later, you would need to reduce price significantly. I would repeat again at this point that service should be done by professionals and in your interests. Another example. I have a German-made car with 1.8 liter engine with turbo. Similar engines were put in a lot of other cars, Bugs, Jettas, Polos, Passats, Audi, probably Škodas, maybe Seats. This engine considered to be good but require attention and timely service. At manual, it said that car originally it said that car require cheap regular mineral oil. Later, after engines started dying by hundreds because of sludging them, manufacturer changed requirements, and now such engines require more expensive synthetic oil. Another example for the same engine. In Europe, change of timing belt required after 65,000 miles, if I'm not mistaken. In the US, after 105,000 miles. Parts relevant to timing belt all of a sudden started failing. As a result, cars most of the times required new engines. If engines failure happened before warranty expired, owner would have fixed it for free. But if engine failed after warranty expired, owner would have to buy new engine with his or her own money. Later, after numerous failures, manufacturer changed its recommendations and require earlier timing belt change. Meaning that please be informed about product you use. Read internet, talk to people who have similar items, whether it's car or water heater or I don't know, if you would like to use company to pave your driveway. See how they like and where the product lasts long. So you as an owner of your vehicle need to know where you need to spend your money and where you shouldn't. I would show you how to do it. I would give you example of wasted money. A guy I know had a good car called a Buick with 3.8 liter engine. These General Motors engines considered to be good. They are well designed and manufactured. They last long time, and that car could have served its owner for 10 or more years. As we know, cars with good engines and transmissions are one of the best choices. Everything else could be fixed pretty easily if you are, if you are watching what you spend. So at some point, car started suddenly stall, which of course didn't make owner happy. What happened after that was this: instead of finding out what was wrong with the car and fixing it, owner trusted mechanics. As he later said, he spent several $1,000s on that car. The problem hasn't been fixed and car was sold for cheap. Owner regret that decision because car is still running strong after new owner figured out the problem and fixed it. As I understand, the following happened. Mechanics simply made money, either not being able to figure out what the problem was or not even trying to do it, seeing that the owner was willing to pay. New owner fixed the problem and now use car with a lot of new parts paid by previous owner. I read phrases on internet. I read phrase on internet some times ago. I think person who said it didn't even realize what he or she said. The expression goes like this: my car stopped require repairs when I had no money to pay for it. And I would repeat it, so you would feel it. My car stopped require repairs when I had no money to pay for it. I imagine mechanics telling the owner, we would suggest to change this and maybe that. It may fix the problem, but of course we cannot guarantee. Time after time, until owner got fed up and sold his car. As I said before, make sure you need suggested or recommended repair before giving a go ahead. Next step, check whether asked price is in line with market. I would stress the importance of compatibility. This is very important. As saying goes in United States, compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. What I'm talking about. One shop could offer lower price, especially if you ask for it. But they wouldn't tell you that in order to lower the price, they would use lower quality parts, or that repair would be done by someone without enough experience, or that price don't include some parts or materials. As an example, guy went to a shop for brake change. Shop did it, but as soon as customer left the shop, he noticed brakes were not working. He figured out air got into the system. He returned to the shop and said that they probably need to bleed the brakes. That's normal procedure. And he got surprising answer. We don't bleed brakes here, we change them. So once again, make sure that service or repair is actually needed and that price is in line with the market with equal quality of both parts and qualifications of technicians. And for example, remember about warranty. If one place give you a warranty and another don't, then you probably would like to consider. Some will say, well, I'm not a mechanic, I don't know what to do and how much it should cost. There are several ways how to handle it and what is the best for you. It depends on whether you would like to save, and if so, how much on servicing or repair your items, whether it's your car, house, vacuum cleaner or upcoming surgery. Do you or your friends have a garage, tools, time and experience to perform the job? Option 1. As saying goes around here, if you need something done right, do it yourself. Of course, there are maintenance or repairs which require special tools or knowledge, but a lot of simple things can be done by almost everyone. Keep in mind that when we say simple thing, doesn't matter that it would cost you very little if those things would be performed by, for example, dealership. Simple math. Cost of repair or maintenance is a sum of the price of parts and labor. Current rate for labor at dealerships is around $100 per hour or so. Independent shops may have lower rates. Even if time required to change broken part is 5-10 minutes, you probably would be charged for half an hour or maybe even for a whole hour, which is reasonable considering shop would spend time processing your car, which is not 10 minutes, but rather closer to an hour or longer. So basically any manipulation with your car, regardless of complicity, would cost you $50 or more. Pretty often you can see ads which says shop offer $20-30 oil change or even free brake or battery check. Chances are that when you come for one of those, you would hear from mechanic, that's right, your battery or brakes need to be changed. or that your car requires engine flush, which, as we discussed before, can be seriously harmful to your engine. And we do understand shop need to pay rent, electric, heating, and other bills. The question is, do you really want to do it, or you'd rather spend those $500,000 or $1,500 for something on something else? Time-wise, in most of the time, time-wise, it works like this most of the times. You left your home at 9. At 9:30, you gave key to service advisor, and we are told they would take in for a service within 30-45 minutes. So closer to 11:30, maybe noon, you got your car back, and at 12:30, maybe returned home. Mechanic probably dealt with your car for maybe half an hour, maybe. I have made appointment at dealership for oil change once. Came at right time and spent there 4 hours. Simple oil change. On top of that, they put mineral oil instead of synthetic, which required by manufacturer. And when I pointed that out and asked to put right oil, they say that they do not have it. That was Volkswagen Audi dealership in Memphis. Another important part to point out. Remember, I was talking about qualification of workers. When you are at the shop or a dealership and service advisors tell you, as one guy told me just several days ago, that he worked with cars for 30 or whatever years, implying they know what they're doing, you can finish his phrase in your head with, "But I am not the one who would work on your car. That would be someone in the garage." And this someone very often have neither knowledge, no experience, and no right attitude. Knowing this, I always try to be close when my car being serviced. I'm not sitting in the waiting room watching TV or reading magazine. Instead, I watch and listen what's going on. Some shops say they are not allowed to have customers at the bay due to insurance liability. No biggie. Go outside, be close to the bay, breathe fresh air, and again, see what they do with your car. There is a point of view that owners better to avoid servicing their cars at chain shops. I agree. I have tried service my car at Firestone, Michelin, Goodyear, Pep Boys, and I had problems everywhere. I would describe them just in order to show you variety of those problems. Sometimes you wouldn't even think that something like this could happen. Firestone, mechanic used screwdriver to remove plastic caps from wheel nuts, even though there is a special tool, a small hook for this procedure. The result is almost new aluminum rims got deep scratches around every nut. Don't get me wrong, I'm not washing and waxing my car every day. To tell you the truth, it was never polished in its life. But if mechanic can do right even simple thing, what would happen if he would touch, for example, engine? Use torque wrench? What's torque? I don't know whether they know a little bit more complicated stuff. Goodyear, they broke plastic ring on dipstick when changed oil and said nothing, thought I wouldn't notice. Well, they bought new dipstick. Michelin, they broke plastic part, they didn't know how it should be removed and simply applied force. Again, mechanics. Pep Boys, I had to ask for another mechanic after I saw how first one was acting. When I was watching him, after I told him I could help him in case he have any problems, I was scared. Mechanic didn't know where oil filter was, and he decided to remove plastic cover on the other side of the engine, by the way. That cover don't have even screws, it just push down. It can be removed by literally 3 fingers. Mechanic spread his legs for better stability and bent his body like he was about to yank 1,000-pound weight. He either would have break the part or injured himself, or both. I stopped him and told where the filter was, but that was not it. I supplied sealed container of specific oil which my car require and mentioned there are 5 quarts, engine required just 4. Less than 2 minutes later I heard empty container hit the floor. I came outside and asked him whether he put all 5 quarts instead of 4. His answer? Check this out. He said container is 4 quarts. I showed him 5 quarts printed on the container. His answer to that: you need to wait outside. Someone could say, who cares, more oil is not less. The problem is, if you have too much oil, it may start foaming inside your engine with the potential to damage the engine, including engine replacement. You wouldn't believe, but there was even more to that. I just won't go there. Sometimes you can see shop employees standing close to the road waving banners which say we have no customers and we service your car right away. This is the sign you don't want to go there. So preferred way for doable maintenance or repair, do it yourself. You would do it with better attention and more accurately than shop mechanics who have dozen or 2 dozen cars like yours and manager who push him go fast, go faster. Another good part here is that you would see what's going on there, whether there is a leakage or something broken, and fix it before problem would become more expensive to fix. So if this option is available, read forums, be informed, check condition of your vehicle. I haven't noticed because problem was growing gradually, but my neighbor said once that my car sound differently. It turned out flexible pipe between engine and muffler rusted out. If you have garage and able to work on your car, learn how to do things and service and repair your car. Talk to your neighbors, colleagues at work who have similar cars or knows about them. I have a good example. When I lived in Memphis, I had a 20-year-old Chrysler 5th Avenue, a large car like ship. That car required everything. Oil was leaking, tires were old and worn, radiator had holes in it. I knew the car was old and could have, break down at any moment, but I had to use it in order to prepare to buy something better. I would make a separate video about car purchase. I would use my current car as an example and would describe what I did right and what I think I could have done better. So back to my old Chrysler. I came back from work one day and noticed lights were not bright enough as usual. But I didn't think about it twice. Next day I came out to go to my work, tried to start it, but instead of sound of 8-cylinder engine, I heard just weak, repetitive clicks. Battery died. First thought would be, I needed new battery, right? Wrong. And that's a good example to the statement that before fixing something, we need to find out what the problem is. So we would fix the right thing and be done with it. In this case, alternator gave up, so battery was not charging. If I would have changed the battery, it could have worked for a day or two, and I would have been in the same situation again. In this case, battery is not the reason, but the outcome indicator. I have opened the hood and I was looking inside trying to figure out what was wrong. A guy who worked at apartment complex as a maintenance person was walking by. He looked at me and I told him that my car broke down. He asked what happened and I showed him by trying to start my car and explained that night before headlights were weak. Alternator, he said. Do you think you can fix it? That was my question to him. He said, yeah, sure. He went to his pickup, grabbed 2 wrenches, and 10 minutes later, alternator is in my hands, I am in his pickup truck, and we are going to parts store. Employees of the store checked my alternator and said that diode died. 20 minutes later, maintenance guy put freshly bought alternator in my car, jumped start me, and I was on my way to work. While I was driving, battery charged and both alternator and battery served till the last day. I gave the maintenance guy 20 bucks. So that was very fortunate outcome for me. I didn't have to call for tow truck and bring my car to the shop to fix it. I wasn't even late to work. So back to our topic. If you ask someone for advice, let's say your car is in the shop and mechanics already started working on it and told you that your car requires additional service or repair, tell the person who you ask for advice about it, because he or she don't see what you see. Why is it important? Dishonest shops and I heard some dealerships practicing the following. Let's say, let me explain it this way. I would explain using my car as an example. Similar situations is with the Volkswagen Bug, Jetta, Passat, Audi, probably Skoda, Seat with 1.8 engines with turbos. Let's say thermostat gave up and you need to change it. In order to do it, front parts of the car needs to be moved forward or removed, which along with thermostat replacement could take several hours if mechanic is not familiar with the procedure. It would take more time to remove those parts of the car than thermostat replacement itself, to put it simple. Take the time to figure out how things works, and let's say tech finally reached thermostat and says water pump is leaking and needs to be replaced along with tensioner. He would show your price list, which said, for example, water pump replacement cost $400 and thermostat $350, tensioner $380, total $1,130. If you would take a look at where those numbers came from, you would see that, for example, cost of water pump is $70, tensioner cost $40, and thermostat costs $35. The rest is the labor, around 3 hours per replacement. It looks decent and legit, and you are ready to pay. But if you would take a closer look, you would notice those about 3 hours of labor is pretty much all the time which required to reach those parts. Replacement itself will take 20, maybe 30 minutes. In this case, if mechanic reach thermostat, he can easily change water pump, tensioner and timing belt. If mechanic show you price list and add cost one on top of another, he is charging you for a labor which he wouldn't do. He is not going to remove front parts of your car 3 times. He would do it just once. The right way to pay for it is add to the original price cost of the parts which he is changing additionally, and add some labor to it. For example, 1 or 2 hours. Person who you have reached for an advice could tell you that, which would save you several hundreds of dollars. Let's say you have a friend who knows about cars, your car is in shop and your friend is not there. So you call your friend and checking with your friend whether price is reasonable, whether it should be done, and so on and so forth. Keep in mind that your friend don't see what you see, so you need to give detailed information, and hopefully your friend who knows about cars would be able to help you. So when you consider repair, find out whether it makes sense to combine several jobs in one. There are cases on internet when someone paid for replacement of one part and just several months later another part broke down. Those parts normally replaced at once in order to save on labor. I was offered once to change spark plugs in my car for $90 when it was for head gasket replacement. People who know the job laugh at this point. Spark plugs were changed for $15, cost of new ones. Next option of service and repair, good mechanic in indie shop. If you are patient and with some luck, this option would be less expensive and higher quality. Look for a mechanic which work with cars of your make model. He could tell you in advance about upcoming repair or service based on his experience with another similar cars. Of course, find honest, well-qualified mechanic is not simple. First step, ask another owners, maybe they would recommend someone, but keep in mind that mechanic which is very good for your neighbors may have different feeling for you. Also, internet forums may help you to find right shop. Third option, which usually get overlooked, is so-called mobile mechanics. People who come to your house or work and fix your car on the parking lot. They wouldn't be able to replace engine, of course, but could take care of most of the problems. There are mobile mechanics who change oil, replace parts, including windshields. On a side note, when windshield on your car required when windshield on my car required replacement in California, I let my car sit for whole day and night just to get it strong. Which means if you replaced windshield, for example, on your car or rear glass, I would prefer to let it sit for a day and maybe if possible two. Do not drive your car right away, even though they said nowadays those glues which they use get job done within an hour or two. If possible, let it sit again for a day or maybe two. Of course, be careful, don't blindly give away your keys. If possible, ask your friends or colleagues who know cars to accompany you. They could help to figure out what the problem is and advise on price. They would have a break and you would have better understanding of what you are dealing with. If your car is under the warranty, algorithm of course is different. Most expensive option, if repair is not covered by warranty, recall or insurance claim, is dealership. And finally, one of the most important parts here, if your knowledge and experience, and if you have knowledge and experience and have someone to teach, do it. Your wife, children, friends will be definitely benefited if you would show and explain to them. So at the shop they wouldn't only listen and pay, but ask right questions. If you have someone who can teach you, learn and ask. It's always handy. Example I read on internet, girl came to the shop and asked for an oil change. Mechanic pulled car inside, but after 10 minutes came out and said with concerned face that car required change and flush of another liquid for a cost of, I don't remember, for example, $200. Girl was surprised and asked to show her what exactly required to be changed additionally. Mechanic with the same concerned face led her to her car and pulled out dipstick. Girl said, okay, coolant. Color is good, clear. What is wrong with it and why is it required to change and what it has to do with the liquid you said it needs to be changed. Mechanic in a hurry put dipstick back, said that was a mistake and opened another container. Girl looked and said, windshield fluid, what's wrong with it? Mechanic nervously closed cap and pulled another dipstick. And this is oil dipstick, said girl. I came here for it. There is no and never was in this car the part which you said need to have fluid replacement. It turns out girl's dad taught her when he was working on family cars. Keep in mind that situations when you would need to make a decision, whether it's construction, car repair or service or search for a dentist, is going to happen. Try to prepare yourself, find right people ahead of the problem. So you wouldn't need to make a decision in a hurry. Depending on your situation, it may be purchase of tools or parts with discount if you know service or repair is looming and you have place and time to do it yourself. If it will require help of professional, start search now. Literally, ask yourself, do you have someone to turn to if something happen tomorrow? If you came with the same problem to the shop 2, 3 or more times and problem is still there, or new problems popping up one after another, and your car basically leaving that shop, like it was with one of the shop in Memphis, think whether you need to use them, regardless of whether they cannot or don't want to fix the problem. You know, it's your money. Remember that phrase I mentioned. My car stopped requiring repairs when I had no money to pay for it. So to sum it up, you have the following option for your, for example, car maintenance and repairs. First is do it yourself. Another one, trusted, qualified mechanic. Next is indie shop. And finally, dealership. And as a sub for the line number 3, which is indie shop, mobile mechanics. Okay, we discussed maintenance and repair. Now let's mention other good use of your money. Again, your situation may be different and you may consider services which I consider useless. For example, AAA membership, it may be good for teenagers, elderly or women. If you can take classes of advanced driving skills, including imitation of driving on ice and snow. Normally driving schools use soapy liquid for it. If it would help you to avoid even single crash, it would worth it. Ask girl from India who crashed her year-old Maserati in my car this winter. Cost of repair of my car was $1,000, well, a little bit more than that. Repair of her Maserati would cost probably the same. What's the next? That's right. Her insurance company probably will increase her premium, so she would pay more. This is example of balanced approach. Maybe it would have been better to buy cheaper car or set of rims with winter tires for her. Set of winter tires not only could help to avoid accidents and drive more comfortably, but it would extend life of your summer tires, and you probably wouldn't need to pay for a rotation every winter season, because most chains, including Sam's, Costco, BJ's, include free rotation when you buy tires there. Or you could do it yourself. Another way where you can spend your money is, for example, buy a glass breaker for your car. They can be different type, like a small hammer or keychain device. Consider whether AAA membership or extended warranty really worth it. Next, see whether you would like to buy dashcam in your car. It may help to avoid being blamed for the accident or accidents if there was no your fault. That's especially important for young drivers without enough experience. Remember that every accident which you would be considered liable for bring way up your already high insurance premiums and might prohibit you your employment even as pizza delivery driver. So you wouldn't be able to deliver even pizza with bad driving records. I like approach of one guy who came from Russia. He put it like this: I have all-wheel drive car. My car have studded winter tires. I am champion of racing on ice. But when there is snow and ice, my car stays in garage. I have a colleague with the same approach. He is from India and he have 2 colleges and master. To sum it up, most important part of your car is gasket between steering wheel and driver's seat. That's you.